All right, boys and girls, here's our first word problem today. Carlos gets to class at 9:08 a.m. He has to write down homework assignments and complete morning work before math begins at 9:30. How many minutes does Carlo have to complete his tasks before math begins? So right now, I went ahead and I pre-made the number line. It takes a little bit to make on the computer. And I want to point out why I chose 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, because yesterday in class, there were some kids that were struggling with figuring out which hours are going to go on each side. And here's what I talked to them about. This hour is going to give you a clue, right? 9:08 and 9:30 both come between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So I can look at this hour, 9 o'clock. And I know that what comes after 9? 10, right? So 1 hour after 9 o'clock is 10 o'clock. Okay. He gets to class at 9:08. So I've got to find where 8 is going to go, right? So I know 8 comes between 5 and 10. So I'm going to draw in my 4 tick marks, right? To represent the 4 minutes that come between 5 and 10. So 6, 7, 8, 9. And Carlos gets to class at 9:08. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's why I'm going to mark that he gets to class. He has to write down homework assignments and complete morning tasks before math begins at 9:30. Okay. 30 is a nice and easy one for me to mark because it's already here. 30. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the color of my pencil so that you can see the hops that I'm doing, the intervals that I'm jumping to figure this out. So basically what the question is asking me is how much time comes between the time that he gets to class and the time that he has to be done with these tasks. So how much time is in here, right? So if I go from where he gets to class, my first star, to my first interval at 10, that's 1, 2 minutes, right? It takes 2 minutes to get from 9:08 to 9:10. Now here's where it gets a little easier. I can just go jumps of 5 here because I know that each one of these lines represents an interval of 5. So I can go 5, 10, 15, 20. So these jumps made 20 minutes. So now all I have to do is put these two numbers together to figure out how many minutes it took. So it took Carlos 22 minutes. It will take him 22 minutes to complete his task before math begins. That's how long he has. So my answer would be 22 minutes. Okay, here's our next word problem. Lunch starts at 12:05 p.m. and finishes at 12:40 p.m. How long is lunch? Oh, well, you know what? This is a nice and easy one because all of these, 12:05 and 12:40, 5 and 40, we both say when we count by fives. They're already written on the number line I created. Now, I do want to point out, like I said yesterday, some kids were having a hard time deciding what time goes at the beginning and what time goes at the end. All you're asking yourself is, these two times, what hours do they come between? They come between 12 o'clock, right? And what's 1 hour later? 1 o'clock. So 12:05, which is 5 minutes after 12 o'clock, and 12:40, which is 40 minutes after 12 o'clock. They both come between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, okay? So lunch starts at 12:05. It finishes at 12:40. How long is lunch? So I'm just going to go ahead and count my intervals. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So lunch is 35 minutes. See that? Every jump, every interval represents 5 minutes on a number line. Just like every number on the clock represents 5 minutes. That's how number lines and clocks are very much alike. That's why we can use a number line to help us. Okay, boys and girls, this is the last one that we're going to practice for today before we do the exit ticket. Joyce spends 24 minutes finding everything she needs at the grocery store. It takes her 7 minutes to pay. How long does it take Joyce to find her groceries and pay? Okay, so I drew out the number line already. The reason that I wrote it from 0 to 60, boys and girls, is because this actually doesn't give me certain times, right? It just gives me number of minutes. So I know that I'm just trying to figure out number of minutes, not trying to figure out an ending time or starting time. And I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So I made my number line from 0 to 60. So an hour's worth of minutes. It says that she spent 24 minutes finding everything she needs. So let's plot where 24 minutes is. I know 24 comes between 20 and 25. So I go 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, then I give it a stamp. That's how long it took her to find everything she needs. So this whole amount of time from 0 to 24, that's how long it took her to find what she needed. Now it's going to take 7 minutes to pay. So let's see. And change my color so we can see the difference. It's going to take 7 minutes to pay. So if I go from 24 to 25, that's 1, right? I'll go ahead and mark that this was 24. If I go from 24 to 25 to get to my next interval, that's 1 minute. It takes 7 minutes, so I got to keep going. So if I go 5 more minutes, 1 and 5, that makes 6. So that means I only have to go 1 more minute so I can draw in my tick between 30 and 35. Here's 1 more minute. So 5 plus 1 plus 1 makes 7. So I did 24 minutes to find everything, 7 minutes to pay. How long does it take her to find groceries? Okay. So what I'm doing here is 24 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1. What's that equal? So let's see. 24 plus 1 is 25. 25 plus 5 is 30. 30 plus 1 is 31. So my answer would be 31 minutes. I always put a label because it's a word problem. Okay, boys and girls, I think this lesson's been pretty long for today, but hopefully you got a lot out of it. I'd like you to go to the exit ticket and complete that.